Hello, there will be massive spoilers. Here we will talk some bits about Arrival movie which came out in 2016 and directed by a notable individual, Denis Villeneuve. Denis is a Canadian filmmaker who had done some impressive works that received numerous excellent reviews and recognitions such as Sicario and Blade Runner 2049. Arrival is a science fiction that is about humanity's first contact with aliens. Hypothetically, in this situation, it makes sense to have military response ready, so the story starts off by introducing Louise Banks, whose expertise is in linguistic, and she was teaching and working in her office doing likely academic-related things. Then the door came knocking and her life is changed forever. Beyond the door reveals a U.S. Army colonel that goes by G.T. Weber, and he asks Louise for the assistance on a top-secret mission. To provide some idea of what it is about, Weber providing the recorded audio of supposed otherworldly invaders and hoped for any kind of insight or comment. The story really started when Louise finally convinced G.T. Weber that she should come with him. Meanwhile, there were actually many flashbacks that appeared in between Louise and Weber's meeting, indicating that Louise had a daughter named Hannah. Unfortunately, we were shown that Hannah passed away due to some unknown illness. This indicated that maybe Louise wanted to spend her time teaching and trying to forget about it since she exhibited a somewhat cold exterior. Throughout the story, we get to see the aliens that appear to be some kind of squids that can fly and walk on land. Surprisingly, there is some kind of steadiness behind aliens' motivations, as they clearly try not to appear hostile and threatening. Instead, they often just stand idly and obviously make efforts to communicate with humans. Louise and her ensemble team including bodyguards and a fellow scientist named Ian. I have to admit that watching Louise and Ian together sometimes is kind of silly, considering that they both are probably more known for being characters in superhero movies. Amy Adams in Man of Steel and Jeremy Renner in Avengers. Even so, the atmosphere and script in Arrival are great and very believable and do build tension at some points. What I like about the movie is that communication with aliens requires patience, empathy, and understanding of body language and writing. Gradually, the movie actually turns into more of human drama, focusing on differences between various countries on process of dealing with alien rather than science fiction or action that would probably end up ignoring complexity of human behavior and simply resort to aliens becoming one-dimensional antagonists. The storytelling would become lazy and probably crap. Eventually, Louise acquired enough vocabulary to be able to communicate with aliens and resolved the question of why aliens are doing here on Earth and convinced military that aliens are not hostile. Actually, the movie didn't really focus too much on why, other than that aliens wanted to give humanity some gift and in return they will need their help thousands of years later. What is more important is that gift is some kind of ability to predict future. Many flashbacks throughout the movie are actually flash-forwards. Louise has been having future visions of her life the entire time. The movie reaches the climax when Louise accepted her future where she wanted to start a family even though she knew the outcome of her life ending in a divorce and a dying daughter. I can understand some criticisms that state the movie is too slow or very predictable. But for me, I thought the movie is amazing, especially with the music and that it touches on intimate sides of humanity. Having a family and again, communication requires a lot of patience, empathy, and some understanding of body language beyond spoken words. At a personal level, I think the movie shows that the idea itself of starting a family is a beautiful thing even if it is not for everyone. I just really liked how it is conveyed in several flash-forwards involving Louise and Hannah conversations and how innocent and much more certain these scenes are in contrast to the present where there is always some unsettling feeling due to uncertainty. On different level, I find it interesting that it is maybe not ethical for Louise to accept the future knowing that her husband would leave her and that her daughter eventually dies of illness. It is never stated whether Louise can actually control her future. The way I see it, I think she is just happy with what she is given with and also be able to help mankind with her gift as seen in scenes where she taught alien language to audience in her lecture and also wrote books on it. Overall, it is a great movie if you like a lot of dialogues, music, and feeling comfortable with uncertainty.